Hello and welcome to the 106th episode of the Gochuucast. And today, I don't know. We're gonna find out
I
though.
guess that does check out. I don't know. We're reaching the realm of numbers that when you say them, I'm like 106.
Yeah, that actually
But
sounds
no, that
weird.
is the correct number. It just took a second where I was like, really? Anyway,
I feel like that would've, I don't know. At this point, I think it just settled in because we've had like two big special episodes like within the triple digits, so it's just like, yeah, we're on 106. Like we did 100, that was 2 hours. Fucking did 104, that was 2.5 hours. Like it's settled in by now. We've been doing this for a minute.
um, this isn't really an anime thing, but this is the main thing I did this week. Um, Reading weeklies because that's the minimum I can do. It has been interesting for me catching back up with the My Hero manga because I think this last little section has a lot of ups and downs in it.
Yeah, didn't like the final
Um,
fight actually conclude after 10 billion years.
yes, I actually really liked the last couple chapters of like how the fight concluded.
I saw like mixed opinions on it, but I think maybe more positive than not. But
I think it was good. I think the problem was getting here. I think getting here
it
has
definitely
probably
did
soured a
take
lot of people.
a
I
long, long
think
time.
for me, binging it made it a lot better.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't read it since like chapter 300 something. So I'm like what I thought was probably the middle of the fight, but I guess it's like barely the fucking beginning at this point. Um,
basically.
it's,
It
I
was
was
quite good. That like last little panel of it was phenomenal.
yeah, I was at 377 when I stopped. It's at
Yeah,
what,
I think that's
423 now? So
or
I
yeah.
got time. Yeah, I'll probably catch up to that soon enough. Uh,
But it
been,
definitely also is one of those chapters that like I read it and was like, oh shit, we're like actually ending finally.
yeah, it's gonna be
You know,
weird. Like My Hero and JJK are like both about to be just
JJK is
gone,
also in that like weird stage where it's like I know JJK's ending. They keep telling me JJK's ending, but
but it hasn't
like
ended.
I don't I don't like see the end. Um per se, JJK had an insane chapter
The most
is going
recent
to.
like
I think it was
spoilers,
leaks that I heard,
yeah,
not
the
the
leaks
actual
that came out are like, oh my god.
the leaks
I don't know.
sound crazy.
I've been pretty checked out of everything that's been. Well, I say I know everything that's happening, but I've been checked out of like the actual seal. Like I can't say I've been a fan of what's been going on lately, but I don't
I've
know.
been super checked out of JJK. I am kind of glad that I got back on the My Hero reading for the end because there was a period of time where I really absolutely loved the series and then I've been checked out of it for years. And it's not like I'm like 180'd on it or anything, but it's like it's kind of nice to just like be neutral on it again for this little end bit.
Yeah. I haven't. I don't even remember what the fuck was happening when I stopped My Hero, so it'll be interesting to go back to. I'm just gonna like hot dropped into the middle of a big fight, and then
Yeah, I think I went back a decent amount and kind of like reread from the beginning of where I was at.
I haven't updated my JJK chapter count in a while. I think it's just because like I have to. You have to look at the leaks, or else you're just gonna get spoiled. And so at that point, it's like, okay, I've read the leaks, but it doesn't feel like I've read the chapter, and so I don't update it.
Yeah, I feel like
I
that
don't
would be
I don't think
like
I've actually read JJK in a while. I think I've
it,
just
it
seen leaks.
the leaks are actually just so prominent. Like I hate it. I hate it a lot. But like, you can't not look at them. Like you're
It's
going
really
to get
hard
spoiled.
to Yeah, it's
yeah,
really
it
hard
is
to have
fair.
JJK in like any of your feeds or anything and not end up
You would have
getting
to
the
mute
leaks.
like everything, and it's unfortunate. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. I just don't. I hate leak culture like that. I think I
I
still
don't
hate it in
personally
general.
mind, but I hate
I
how it exists in
yeah
the way that like I don't really care that much about being spoiled on things generally, but I hate that it's like so unavoidable for people who do.
yeah. I mean, I don't like being spoiled, but it's not like the end of the world if I do. I just like this was uh It hasn't been as bad with Oshinoko lately because I muted like the big leaker, but like I'll always see like reactions to the leaks. I'm like, fuck, well, I feel like I need
Yeah,
to look now, and so
Well,
I
this
don't
is
know.
why I always read One Piece leaks at this point. For like, I was pretty neutral, but eventually it just became the leaks were in my feeds, and so at that point it's like, all right, I guess I'm a leak reader. That's fine.
I feel like I saw so many people talking about the leaks. I was just like, damn, if I was reading this, I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm not
like
even following it on Twitter or anything. It's just like people in like random servers, like, oh, it just came out, bro. Did you see it? It's like,
Did I read the new
oh,
Oshinoko?
it's
I don't
crazy.
think I
chapter
did.
150 was really good,
It like
and I
just
hope it
came out
continues.
yeah, it like just came out
It was yesterday.
yesterday, right?
Yeah,
For us. Yeah, I
I
definitely did
I, I
read it.
think we got more
Well,
like
they're
meaningful
doing the
movement.
plot line. They're doing the plot line they need to do
Yes, we've gotten
for
more
like
more
the good
meaningful
of the
movement
series.
in chapter 150 than we've gotten in the entire second half of the previous arc. What, man, that the last arc was just like looking back and just really not well done at all. And I hope it just gets back on track.
I
Um,
would agree. I think the last arc was
I think it did a lot of
it was a
things that
hard arc. That I
I
will
think
say, like I don't know how you do it well.
I just feel like whenever Oshinoko had like a big moment, right? Usually it would be followed with like the proper consequences and like the aftermath and all of that. I didn't feel like that happened in the previous arc. Like the big moments would happen and you'd be like, "What? Oh fuck!" And then
Yeah,
like it just doesn't talk about them. It like brushes it aside, and then it like
I would
comes
agree with
back a
that.
little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I think chapter 150 needed to happen in the previous arc. Like we needed to not dance around everything that's been happening.
Okay, this chapter is starting off crazy. Noted.
Yeah,
I opened up the first couple pages because I was like, I can scan through Oshinoko during the podcast real quick.
yeah. Like this is a chapter that needed to happen because I feel like this
Yeah,
POV
like even this
was
opening scene that I'm getting right now is like, okay, this is kind of something that needed to.
it answers a lot. We beat the allegations. You know, there's a lot of very important things that happened in this chapter that would have been good in the previous one and would have like better contextualized things, which is what I needed from previous. Like, 'cause
Hmm.
I do think the previous arc needed to happen, even if it was uncomfortable. It's just I think it was poorly handled, and if this arc can get that back on track, that'd be great. But we'll see.
How's your Madoka video editing going?
I haven't touched it since I back and recorded the audio.
Okay, fair. I
It's
was
like
curious.
it's a whirlwind of
It's a lot. It's a lot. No.
motivation
I
and
was just
then
curious.
life. I'm like, I really
Yeah.
don't feel like
No,
it right
no,
now.
absolutely. Don't
I
worry
want to
about
get
it.
it
I
out
was
soon, but
curious. No. Yeah, it's
yeah,
yeah.
well,
Seriously.
it'll get there when it gets there.
Yep. I'm just looking forward to it. So okay.
Yeah,
Um. Okay. Well, let's see. For me, I did mention some stuff last time that I wanted to catch up on because I think the last time I talked about the two seasonals that I caught up with was Bartender and Train to the End of the World. I finally got the name right. Holy crap. I was like about to say Train to Another World, but it's Train to the End of the World. Okay. And then the other show what I was watching previously but I hadn't caught up with was Jellyfish Can't Sleep at Night. Wait, did I
can't
get the
swim
name
in the
right?
night. You
So,
fucked it
oh
up.
my
Yeah,
It
god.
was close. It was pretty close.
you
Well,
got the S
do
part.
jellyfish sleep?
I don't
I
think jellyfish
hate
technically like aren't even
Aren't jellyfish
alive.
like a yeah?
Are they
like
nocturnal? I don't know the
well,
lore, but
I
maybe
don't
jellyfish
think they
just don't
sleep at
do
all. I think
anything.
they just vibe.
Yeah, they literally just vibe until something
do
kills them.
jellyfish
Like
sleep?
they are immortal. Like there's like a certain subsect of jellyfish that are immortal. I know there is
There is a
there is at
subsect.
least one jellyfish that is immortal, and I don't know if it's all of
That's
them or just one
crazy.
of them.
I have been laughing about lately on the subject of immortal animals. People talking about how I think it was crocodiles. Recently,
Yeah,
my
like
Twitter feed was
crocodiles like
discovered that
technically don't age.
crocodiles,
Yeah,
yeah, they
Wait,
don't.
wait, what?
like something else is
Crocodiles
going to kill a
cannot.
crocodile, but
Yeah, crocodiles cannot die from like the effects of old age.
Oh, okay.
But
Right.
also like they're susceptible to all the other like normal things.
yeah,
So
it's
it's
just
not like they're
RNG.
immortal, but like Twitter got a hold of this and was like, "Wait, I never knew these fuckers were immortal." And it's like, well, technically
Yeah, they're not
I
like
guess it's
they can
possible
die,
for
but
when,
you know,
yeah, it's like technically possible for a single crocodile to live like absurd lengths of time, but also no.
it's not likely. Like, cause
Yeah.
like you're
I
gonna
think
get
their
clapped by
average
something
life
in the wild.
expectancy is also like fairly low. I mean, it's
Right.
high for like most animals, but it's still like even in
Yeah,
comparison to
apparently some
humans.
tortoises don't experience it's like a degradation of like the cells. And like I mean, I knew tortoises, some of them live
I
for
think
like 500
reptiles
years,
in
so you're like, yeah,
general, it's not a super
probably yeah.
uncommon trait.
Yeah.
Yeah, like turtles live
It's
for like
kind of
hundreds of
crazy.
years.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
it's like I mean, yeah, they're more defensive. It's just a matter of like if something went to clap you at some point, and the answer
Correct.
is yeah, you can only live so many years before before something on this earth
Oh,
decides it's
yeah,
your time.
sure. That is true. But yeah, so jellyfish can't sing at night. They
Swim. It's like oh my god,
swim. Oh my
yeah, oh my
god,
god.
what is wrong with me? I
Yeah, you
hate
got
that game.
sleep, you got sing, you just
Oh my
can't.
god, because I was thinking about the music, you
Listen,
know? Oh
It's
my
like
god,
yeah,
I
I
actually
get it.
jellyfish can do a lot of things, apparently.
Jellyfish definitely
Just not at
can't
night.
can't.
jellyfish can sing at night, but they also probably can't sing during the daytime.
I don't know.
Okay.
You ever seen SpongeBob? Jellyfish Jam, dude.
Oh my
I
gosh,
guess they didn't
true,
sing
true,
there
true.
that, but you know,
Okay, so this jellyfish anime I've been watching.
just call it jelly at this point.
Jelly, yeah. Well, I mean, technically,
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's cool. I think the last episode, which is 7, I guess, right? 7. I don't know. Has 8 come
should
out
be
yet? I
yeah
don't know. Right?
7. Yeah,
Yeah, so 7 was the last one, bro. 7 had some like weird tropey.
it's some out of pocket moments, but it was still like a
Yeah,
fine.
you know. Overall, I do like the show. I think it's I think there are enough, like, especially like slightly before that. I forgot which because I watched like I think 4 through 7 in one shot, but like before that there was like a lot of emotional moments with like the main character and stuff like that, which I thought was probably necessary at that point. And uh I don't really have too many strong feelings about it, but it's good so far. It's just I like the characters. I like their development both like
You like the
within their, I
jellyfish?
don't know, you want to call them careers, I guess. Like, I mean, they're high school students, so I guess not careers is probably the wrong word. But
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, their development. I like the development, the character
yeah.
development so far. It's yeah, it's good. It's good. So you were saying something, PK. Go ahead.
I made a dumb jellyfish joke, and then I was gonna be like,
Oh,
I mean, it's still like kind of. I haven't watched it, so I kind of backed off. But I'm like, it can still be their careers in like a
true,
broad
true. Their
aspect to
academic,
me, even if
yeah.
it's not in the realm of like you are a professional at the moment,
Yes, yeah.
right?
Um, the only character that like I feel like I don't know as well, or like there was part of it. Let me find her name. The freaking purple haired girl.
The
What's the
May.
piano one? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like there's like some background on her, but like
yeah. I
I
feel
don't
like
know. It just feels
since
like she's
her
not.
episode, we
Yeah.
haven't really seen a lot of her, which I'm not
Yeah.
completely complaining about. She's definitely the most
Maybe
annoying
later.
of the four, but
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of her either, but
Right.
yeah. Overall, the other characters are pretty good. So I don't
yeah,
know.
I
I'll
like
let you
the
know.
other three a lot.
Yeah. Um. And
Also, I've
like you.
read the Oshinoko chapter. Good chapter.
Yeah, we're back
Mace.
up. We're back up.
Mace.
I I don't mind this development as a fan of who I'm a fan of in the series. I would prefer it to go this way. Just make sure that character's happy too.
Yeah, you better be happy about it. Well, what's best for the character that you like is
I think
not
it's
what
best for
some
both
people want.
characters that they don't do the thing that they were kind of teasing for a little bit,
I never
right?
truly
So this is
thought
a
it was going
better
to go that
development.
way.
Oh no, 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 not at
I'm
all.
so
But it would have
tired
been funny.
of everything I read being like, yep, we're setting this up as like the ending. I'm like, all right, let's go. This is good. And then like it like 180 fucking curveball. I'm like, okay, well, never mind. It decided to just not do the thing it set up for however many chapters.
I did remember there is one major announcement that I had happen this week,
Let's go. What is?
Oh yeah,
which is
baseball.
Ace of the Diamond Act 2 Part 2 something like I don't know that it has its official name. Basically, Ace of the Diamond is continuing. It's probably so the Act 2 manga finished like a year to a year and a half ago, I think, at this point now. So I'm assuming they're just gonna adapt the rest of Act 2, which shouldn't be too much. But Ace of the Diamond usually does that, where it has like really big parts.
Yeah, aren't like all
Because
the
a lot of
seasons really
sports
long?
series, yeah, for a lot of sports series, it's just more practical to have like the longer, more spread out stuff because if you're spending 4 episodes, 5 episodes on a single game, then
Yeah.
it's like you actually kind of progress the series if you do it. It's like 2, 3 cores as opposed to just like a single core.
Yeah, some core like you get like the
With the
introductory
exception,
stuff, and then
yeah,
the game, and then like the aftermath. And you're like, all right, we're done.
yeah. The exception being like Haikyuu, but Haikyuu even would do like have the short seasons, but just use that whole season for like the single game or like moment, right?
Mhm.
So it's like the same thing, but instead of we're going to get really far in progressing the series, like do an entire tournament, for example, which is the type of stuff that like Ace of Diamond does, Haikyuu would be like, yeah, season 3 is just gonna be this one game, and we'll just like spend all the money and time we need on it, and then we'll move on later. But yeah, so Ace of Diamond continuing, probably ending Act 2. Last I knew, no word of an Act 3,
Heard that
but I wouldn't be
the manga guy
surprised if
was
it
burnt out,
happens.
right? Or like
He's a
something like
little
that.
burnt out, so he is going to be writing another game that happens in the series,
Okay.
as it's not really a spin-off, but as just kind of like a little side series. So what I'm suspecting is he'll write that, um, potentially as his break, or just to like tie up the series in general. That up to him. And then once that is like, finished, and he probably has like a little break from it, then we'll get official information on whether like an Act 3 will happen or not.
Right. Okay.
It's not necessarily a necessity for the series, but it's like Act 1 was their first year, and Act 2 was their second year, right?
hmm
For a 3-year school.
So it
So
could end with this, and it would be okay, essentially.
it could. The ending
Okay.
for this was fine, but a little bit of a weird spot, in my opinion, to end at.
I
But
mean,
it
there's still
wouldn't
loose
be
ends to tie up.
the craziest. Yeah, it wouldn't be the craziest way to end the series. I think what's more than likely, even if there's not a full Act 3, is perhaps after he draws the game he wants to do next, maybe he just has like a little mini tie-up thing, or like highlights from the third year at best. I think it'd be odd to end here, but not the weirdest thing. Because he was kind of, I guess I would call it open-ended in a way, or just kind of like you can make a lot of your own interpretations.
Right.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Ace of the Diamond, really good, and more sports anime. Never a bad thing. It'll probably be a while before it actually has
Comes
a new
out.
show, because, like I said, I suspect that they're gonna take the time to just adapt the whole rest of the series and then release episodes until they've finished Act 2.
Yeah. In terms of stuff I've done, a lot of it's just kind of like continuation from last week. The season I did catch up on was the third season of the Slime Isekai. Um, it was it was an experience.
This is sound
So
good.
I'd only watched one episode of the season, and then I gotten behind. But what I was really dreading was that I knew, once I gotten behind, like a lot of episodes were like meetings. Literally episodes 1 through 6, every single episode, like almost every single second of them, was a meeting. And look,
Mm.
world building, great. Politics, fantastic. Very
Meaning,
interesting stuff. I wanted to. It's a slog to fucking get through when you're watching it. Reading it is one thing, but when you
I mean, that
were,
was one of the things with like the second half of Log Horizon for a lot of people too, was it just got very like information and
yeah,
like meetings and politics,
it's like
which
just one
not
of those
necessarily
things
politics for
where
this, but
like, dude, it's been 6 episodes of politics in a row. I'm not gonna remember any of this bullshit by when it like starts to matter.
when it
Uh,
matters, yeah,
yeah,
you're
like
gonna need the recap anyway.
you just dumped for 6 episodes and now stuff's happening and it's like, okay, cool, whatever. Like there's all these different political factions and ramifications for things, and it's like fantastic. We could have found a better way to do this rather than sit me down for 6 episodes of meetings and then be like, okay, now. And I'm not like, you know, I don't need
Locking in for your
actions.
20-minute
Yeah,
20-minute meeting every week.
yeah, I mean, like it feels like you're clocking in for a job to watch episodes 1 through 6 of fucking Slime, because it is literally just meetings about. There's a meeting, and then there'll be another meeting, and then you'll switch perspectives to like other characters that like aren't the main ones, and you're like, okay, cool, certainly something different's gonna happen. It's like, oh,
And then they'll have their own meeting.
this is the bad guy meeting. Dude, like in one episode we had a meeting of like the main characters and stuff, but then it like switched to like the opposition meeting, and then switched from like the opposition meeting to the secret bad guy meeting, and it's like, oh my god, like come on. Like I have, like, once again, I don't need the action stimulation. Like some of my favorite series are just, random bullshit that doesn't really mean anything. But
But
holy,
also
like,
sometimes it's a little much.
it's just exposition dumping like out the fucking wazoo, and it's like not even exposition. It's just like just world information. It's like that's great, but like I'm gonna die if I keep
Even
watching
like
this.
one of the things that the series does really well.
Yes, like
But
Slime has a very intricate world, and like that is one thing I'll give. Like, there's no stakes in Slime. Like, I understand Rimuru is fucking broken, and he's gonna win like literally everything he does. And so the world is like the interesting part, but it does not translate very well to anime, because that was probably like an entire volume worth of meetings. Like, I can't imagine, like just the sheer density of the
I don't know why you saying like a volume of meetings makes me think of like the whole like light novel volume being just like the Constitution or something.
It fucking probably
It's
may as
just a
well have been like,
political
holy shit.
document.
Like
This is
it's
the
just
treaty.
like the minutes of a meeting, like just
Yeah.
the spark notes, and it's just holy shit. It's just a lot, and I survived it, so we're chilling. But it's just one of those things where like they had meetings in like season 2 and shit, but like there's like an episode or two of that in a row at most, and then you'd like get to something happening. Yeah, I just need a scene. I just need a change of scenery every now and then. But when the scenery changes to another boardroom, I'm just like, oh man, come on, we can't keep doing this. Yeah, it's just it's a lot. I think there's a lot of ways to do exposition and big dialogue episodes, but like when it's like, okay, and then you will do this, and then you will do this. Like, in anime, they're like, all right, we need to plan a strategy, and then they cut away and they fucking do the battle, and like flash back to their strategy meeting. Like,
okay.
It's
that would
like
be
the
a better way
opposite.
to do that. In Slime, it's like, we are gonna tell you the entire fucking strategy right now, and it's like, no, you don't need to do that. I don't care. Yeah. Like, it's just literally.
You get to see every side strategy beforehand.
It's
so
like
you
all of
get to be
episode
like,
6
oh,
was
how
like
is this gonna
assigning
go?
roles to different characters. I'm like, you don't need to do that. You can just like have the character go do their role, and I'll know that you assigned it in this fucking meeting. Like, it's not that important. It's just like empty calorie dialogue, basically. It's just filling
I wonder
time.
if like the novel readers consider this to be like too slow paced compared to, you know what I mean?
I've
Like
seen like a
I'm
lot of
curious what the opinion is.
opinions of it where it's like, oh yeah, this part was a little bit difficult to get through, but like, everything after it's worth it. And then sometimes like, people are like, oh, y'all need action stimulation to do whatever. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, stupid.
People immediately use that as a
Yeah, and
negative, like, oh,
then
you just aren't.
I've seen like oh fuck, I had something in my mind. I don't remember. Yeah, it's just a wide array of opinions on like whatever, but everyone seems to like have a consensus to like it's worth it in the end to like go through this and continue. We'll see. We're only like an episode into like the not meetings, so if we get like a flashback
Not
during like the
meetings is so
actual
funny.
action 2 meetings, I might just die like on the spot. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's just a lot. It's just a lot of time spent on meetings that could have been moved. There's better
That's like
ways to do
a
that.
that's like a good summary of like 9 to 5 jobs. It's a lot of time
Amen.
spent on meetings that could be used for something else.
We
Actually,
have
that's
like
actually true.
daily little just checkup meetings at my job, and like sometimes they feel fruitful, but the majority of
Uh-huh.
the time I'm just kind of sitting there like I could be doing stuff right now.
Of course. That's why
Yeah,
like this these are good because you can actually do something while stuff is happening. But
like
yeah,
right now, actually watched this the other day. Ed is going through Origairu right now, and
yeah, oh
he
yeah, I saw
finished
that.
season 2 recently. But I watched the episode. I don't know if you remember PK. You remember like the Christmas event arc where they had to like work with the other school, and the other school was just full of people who like
Kind of, yeah,
who just like talked in like corpo speak, but didn't actually know what they were doing.
yeah.
I went through that, and that was like literally just imagine like that Origairu arc, but that's like 6 episodes of slime. I mean, slime is like more tangible with what they were saying, but just
Mhm.
like just nothing but meetings that feel like they're getting nothing done. But yeah, that was the thing. I finished Yuru Camp season 1.
Nice.
That was cool. I
Was
Are you
it
think
caught
just
up with me
actually
now?
just like
I think I
comfy?
finished
Like
season
that's
one.
that's it? Is it?
yeah, like there is. I mean, yeah, it's an Iyashi or okay, it's it's she Iyashike, I guess. I probably butchered the pronunciation. I think that is right. But anyway, it's like it's just a genre that's meant to heal. Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's no stakes. There no tension. No drama. It is just yep. They went camping again this episode. It's like hell yeah,
Hell yeah.
hell yeah.
My I remember when I was watching it, it was just nice because it was one of those things that I would just turn on and be like, I need zero brain power for this, and it's great.
Yeah, it is literally just. It's why cute girls doing cute things is a strong anime genre because you can literally just take like any group of characters, throw them into a mundane or niche activity, and then be like, "Yep, this is peak fiction now," and then everyone will eat it up. So, I mean, this is the next step on my list of
I will say your memes have infected me because I remember seeing something earlier and being like, that'd be a good place for what was it?
a Dollar
Home
Tree.
Depot or Dollar Tree? Yeah.
Well, yeah,
We
And
did
I
mention
was,
Home Depot during our we mentioned a lot of different like shopping complexes and shit like that.
oh yeah, of
Just a wide
course.
open field, like yeah, that'd be a great place for a Dollar Tree.
Just made me laugh because I was like, I'm not even part of this group watch, and they've still got me.
Yeah, like they were like overlooking like a big lake in front of Mount Fuji. I'm like, man, you like fill that in, that could be the parking lot. It's just funny to make stupid fucking jokes like that, you know.
That's
Like
the
with
beauty of group watch. Always the stupid jokes. Rat poison will forever. We
rat
don't even
poison.
know what created rat poison, but it'll forever exist.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like I think I barely remember what created rat poison. It's just because we were
I just
like
mean
being
like the
so.
scene.
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah,
exactly what scene. I just remember we were being constantly morbid about like things that would happen. Like, yeah, one of them's getting mauled by a bear this episode, and the rat
yeah,
poison was just
because it's dangerous rock climbing anime, except there is no danger.
yeah. Well, no, the mountain climbing. We don't talk about the rock climbing special.
Oh, that's not why I said it, but valid. The specials were weird. It's funny how like generally just wholesome the series was throughout all the regular series, and then all of the specials were just like here's where we put all the weird shit.
Well, I don't know
Like
about
it's
that.
not
I mean,
like it had
the rock
no
climbing one
moments.
was like out of pocket. I feel like the other ones were just goofy. Like they had like the award show or whatever for I think for one of the specials. I don't
The award
remember.
show one was pretty good. That is true.
Yeah. And then yeah, I don't know. I mean, the rock climbing was definitely the most out of pocket, but that was like 6 minutes of out of or like just like a couple minutes of out of pocket. I don't know. It got less out of pocket as it continued. I think season 2 was probably the most egregious because it had 24 episodes to do that. But it was fine overall. I don't know. Nothing will ever top like just like the one episode where they're like, "Yep, let's take baths," and it's like everyone took an individual one, and they had to show every single one for like
They had
30
to show
seconds.
every single person. Yep.
Yeah,
And it was just like, bro.
we we couldn't find a better way to spend our time in this episode. We needed this like 3 minutes of the 12 minutes to be bath. Anyway. But yeah, I enjoyed Your Camp Season 1, and then I'm sure I will enjoy Season 2 and the movie and 3, and so on and so forth.
I'm sure it's all the same stuff.
It's probably all the exact same, and I'm gonna eat it all up regardless.
I've only seen season 1, so I can't speak too much to it, but
Yeah,
I can also confidently say it's probably all the same.
I mean, I can't imagine it's just gonna. Yeah, it'll all be the same. I can't imagine it like changing anything up formula-wise. Like maybe like new character additions at most.
Even then, it's like with series like that, it's kind of odd. Because they don't tend to add a lot of new characters.
I guess I've seen the opening for season 3, which is really good, and I think there's at least like one character that looks like that'll be in there, and there's like a couple more, but I haven't like every now and then I'll get like Camp on the timeline or something because it's season 3 airing right now. I don't feel like I've literally seen like there's two characters in the opening. Like I don't feel like I've ever seen you in like anyone's screenshots or anything, so I don't even know if you're real.
Yeah,
just in the opening to exist, but I'll find out
new
eventually.
characters and slice of life questionably. I need to watch EBK now that a couple episodes have come out. That'll be the one that breaks my anime dry streak.
Yeah,
Dry streak.
I'm 3 episodes into season 3 now. It's definitely doing a
I mean,
better job with like the first years
the
than
newers, yeah.
yeah.
It's also one of those series that I feel like it's probably going to start slower. I just feel like the format of it, of like the series, is usually like the beginning of the seasons are just going to naturally be a little slower just because they have to be.
Yeah.
So I'm not too stressed about it, but also I'm behind on every single thing in existence. So I gotta catch up somewhere.
You're ahead on Paper Mario. Oh,
I'm not ahead on Paper Mario.
You're
It
not
just
ahead.
came
Okay.
out. I
Yeah,
haven't
I mean
won
you're ahead
yet.
of the people who haven't started.
Listen, if I've played Paper Mario for every hour that it's been out since it
Okay, true.
released, I could be doing
You
post
could
game
be ahead.
content
You're
right
ahead of
now.
a subset of people. Okay, a small subset of people.
I have considered learning. This is my favorite game of all time. This is my Bikini Bottom
I
battle
forgot they remade it, but I did
game.
like the original. I mean, I guess like 1,000 Year Door or whatever.
Yeah.
It's technically not.
So for me, it's like I'm just gonna chill and play it, enjoy the remaster. It's not gonna be drastically different, but it'll be fun.
Yeah,
This is like
no.
one of the couple games in my head that I've thought about. Like, if I ever decided to do speedrunning for fun, I would potentially
Ooh,
speedrun this
interesting.
game.
I don't think I could. I'm too slow for speedrunning. Like,
I think
I'm
that's like
just too
the
lazy to learn
general thing for
speedruns.
me. Yeah, I think like the idea of speedrunning sounds cool until I realize just how much work I have to
the
put in
optimization.
just to be passable. Not even to be like competing for anything.
Oh yeah.
Just to like complete a run like correctly is probably hundreds of hours in learning various things. Depending on the game, it's also like I don't think I would have fun speedrunning games with like big exploits behind. Like I've seen speedruns of like Odyssey, for example, and then like really contingent on like getting certain wall clips and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know if I would enjoy that style of speedrunning as much as just like play the game very fast.
Yeah. I'm the world record holder for Battle Bears 1 Zombies speedrun.
Oh yeah, you
But
mentioned that
the
before. I
mod
forgot
hasn't
about
been
that.
online for a year though, so it's not official, but I did it.
Yeah, I enjoy
You
watching
are
them.
you
That's
are
all I'll
a
say. I enjoy
official
watching them.
I'm
speedrun
an
world
official
record
speedrun
holder. Yep.
champion, and it'll never be broken probably.
Not on my mind.
A few other ones. It's funny because like a lot of the games that I really like don't necessarily have speedrunning communities, so it's also not.
Oh, sure, sure,
I mean,
sure.
Paper
Well, you can
Mario
become world
does.
record holders, in a lot of games. Then, if they don't
Yeah,
have an
Paper
established
Mario
community.
does. But like I really like all the Mega Man Battle Network and Star Force games, and
Oh
they
yeah.
have speedrun communities, but they're also like very niche games.
Oh, true, true,
Yeah,
true. Yeah, some
yeah.
of them are just smaller
So it's
ones.
not the same as like getting into like Super Mario Sunshine, which just has this
Oh, of course. There's
gigantic,
64.
or like
It's like,
64, yeah, have these gigantic, like fully optimized communities and routes behind them, and it's basically just like if you wanted to be the world record holder in like 64, you're committing the rest of your life, basically.
yeah, yeah,
um, because at this point, it's like until something new is discovered, it's just being faster at doing the exact same thing perfectly or close to perfectly as everyone else.
right. Yeah, yeah. It's tough.
I have always thought it's cool seeing like the I've seen videos before of where people have put together like all of the top speed runs and then like kind of splice together their best runs of sections to get
Uh-huh.
like what the theoretical
Yeah, it's like
best
not
like
seen as like it obviously you can't uh equate
it's
it
like
to a real
not
speed run, but
realistic
yeah, yeah.
percent,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
like the best
the
potential
idea
time.
is cool. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
like this
Don't
is
most
if you
put it
took
on their splits? Like they'll have like best possible time or
Yes,
whatever.
yes. They
Yeah.
have that thing on the timer or whatever on the screen usually. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's cool. The one thing I was I was gonna say about Paper Mario is like a random thing, but I remember about Thousand Year Door. I mean, I remember playing it, enjoying the game, but I loved the X Knots. I think they're like actually the most like adorable like enemies like ever.
the
I
X
just
nuts
love
are
them.
a funny
They're
enemy.
so cute. I like they're just like I don't know. I love them. They're actually one of my favorite enemies. So
The Paper Mario series is just really good.
yeah.
Like Paper Mario 64 is at least worthy of being called equal the Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, I
Like a
like
lot
it.
a lot of people might consider it better. I like Thousand Year Door a little better if I have to choose one, but at the same time, like it's certainly not inferior. And then
Mhm.
the one for the Wii, Super Paper Mario, is also quite good. A lot
Uh,
less
I
people
did
played
play
it.
that one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just different
I
because
don't
it
think
doesn't have the
it's
turn-based thing, right? It's like the
yes, exactly. It kind of like changed
yeah, it's like almost like a
the whole
platformer essentially.
system.
Yeah, I
So it's
remember.
very different, but it is still good. The sticker ones, I think, probably get a little too much shit,
I haven't tried
but
those.
and then the newest one that came out is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I've tried that one either. I just yeah, I remember the one for Wii was like one of my first Wii games, and then the first two, there's like a point in I think when I was like in middle school or high school, so a while back, where I like had played a lot of the new games that were coming out, but I never experienced the classics, like from Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and things like that. So I went back and like played all of them, or a lot of them at least, and so that's when I played it. So I haven't played those games in ages, but I remember enjoying them. So yeah, so it's cool to see that they remastered it, but yeah.
I it's like probably a weird topic for a lot of people, but I love the idea of like remasters
Yeah.
as I know it's like a little bit of a cash grab, and it depends on how it's done. But like,
Yeah,
I feel like a
100%.
good remaster is just like fun.
It just
And
depends.
there's certain things in that I've seen of the Paper Mario remaster that make me really hopeful that it's just going to be a lot of fun, like new dialogues, better quote graphics. It's not like
Yes.
there's that much of a change to the graphic style, but it's still like seeing it slightly nicer, but the same art style is cool. I'll see as I play through it how different it is for things, but it's just kind of the concept of remasters to me of like old beloved games is one that I kind of support, even if it is a little cash grabby, because it's like
I
it's
think,
the same as when we talk about like old anime, um, getting like newer versions, just because I talk about Yu Yu Hakusho, the Dark Tournament, and being like, I would love to see the Dark Tournament with like the animation that like JJK fans are getting, just because it'd be really cool to see. It's kind of the same concept to me, where it's like it's fresh, but it also gives you a means to kind of like revisit these old gems.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I actually said this on Twitter recently. Where I stand with remakes is like, if there's like a tangible reason to do it, then sure. Like Spice and Wolf, for example, like didn't follow the source material perfectly or whatever, and so they're remaking it. Probably going to continue it, I would assume. Like, there's no reason to remake it and then just be like, nope, we're done. Um,
I think
and
you also have to, if you're gonna call it a remake and make it as a remake, you have to add something substantial to it, right? That doesn't necessarily mean like change the story or anything, but like you're saying, like finishing the
It should
story.
be an improvement, I think,
yeah,
Yeah,
like
just in some
exactly.
way.
if you
Yeah.
think of like ORS with Pokemon, like they did change, like they changed a number of things, and so it wasn't just like, yep, here's the exact same game, but this time it's in 3D. But they, obviously like
Because that was the
megas were
problem with like
introduced. Uh,
BDSP, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
If
yeah,
we're gonna
BDSP
use
Yeah.
was just like
Pokemon,
literally a worse game, and so, uh, which some people have like opinions on like the original Diamond and Pearl, which I mean I get it. They're slow as fuck, but Platinum, I don't know, Platinum's like the perfection of.
I'm not a huge fan of the Diamond Pearl games, but just in
Yeah,
general.
I mean I love Platinum. I think I get like the gripes with Diamond and Pearl, but I don't know if you just like look at Platinum as like an extension of that, then it generally fixes it. Anyway,
Yeah. The
but
speed, especially.
yeah, like they have like these remakes, and it's like, let's fucking go. We're in Gen 4 remakes. All the problems that Gen 4 did have, we can fix now because they're remaking Gen 4, and it's like, yep, here's the exact same game. What did they like look at the code and it was like all the exact same? They just like put a new
Yes.
coat of paint on it, and it's like, oh,
Yes. And that's why it's like one of the worst coding jobs of what probably decades of game creation. Um as far as like AAA games go, right? Like obviously you could find something released recently
I
that's
mean,
just
I don't
some
know if I'd
guy
call
just
like
made a game, but
Pokemon AAA, but
I mean it
I
should
actually
be.
definitely wouldn't call it AAA. Like the development of a Pokemon game isn't gonna be anywhere near like, I don't know, like a Call of Duty type of thing. Like
I
the
know, but conceptually it should be, which is kind of I guess another issue. But either way, I mean, even if you just want to say like a major game, I to me like I get the point you're making with like the AAA thing being a point of quality,
yeah,
but
usually like
also like
AAA
when
is
I
like,
think of AAA, I think of like big names and
Like the
studios, right?
I
the
mean, yeah,
So
like
it's
country
that
club
is
like
like a part
games.
of AAA, but usually it's like really high level game with like a high budget, like insane like undertaking, and it's why,
and Pokemon doesn't do that.
yeah,
Objectively, Pokemon doesn't do
yeah,
that.
Pokemon is
I
like
would
a high
agree.
profile name, but everything surrounding Pokemon is like, yep, they have like X amount of years to do this because we need merch to continue to roll out, and then that's how it goes, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like I mean, obviously people like the games as a standalone thing, but it's also like I don't know if you want to call it advertisement, but like for their other products, right? It's
I
like,
mean, like at this
I
point,
mean,
like
it
the
100%
game is
is
probably
at
one
this.
one of
yeah,
the
yeah.
least
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah,
profitable
like, true,
things
true,
for
true.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
I
like
mean,
in
it's
this
it's all intertwined, right? But yeah, yeah,
yeah
yeah. Of course.
um I don't
At
know.
this point, Pokemon's kind of perfected the like idea of kind of like the product cycle. It's just if you're a fan
Cycle
I mean,
so smart.
of
Yeah, no, no,
it's
yeah.
why the number one grossing franchise in history for
yeah,
nothing.
Crazy,
They,
crazy.
they're like, yep, we make game make anime, anime make toys, and then they have card game, and it's all a big fucking cycle of
whatever you
money.
want. You want plushies? You want cute Snorlax that's literally the size of you? Here you
I
go.
do. I
I
genuinely do.
I
Yes.
love just oversized plushies like the
I do.
fucking
Oh,
It
me too. Me too.
like they made the
I
Fervor and
absolutely
Infern
love it.
ones.
It's just funny to like think about stuff like that, and it's like if you have any enjoyment of Pokemon at all, at this point, there's something for you, which is like a huge marketing. I mean, even like Pokemon Go was probably the biggest example of this, obviously, because it's just there's so many Pokemon Go players that aren't even like Pokemon fans, but it's just an app that like is fun and they can interact with. Even that's like you don't have to like the rest of the series, but if you're playing Pokemon Go, that's generating passive revenue.
Yeah. Sometimes like surprising like that the game is still going at all. Like
Pretty sure it still has like a really active player base. It's just not
yeah, it's not as
still
big
at
as it
like
used to be,
phenom
but
levels.
it's still like relatively big. I mean, you're not gonna like go out and see like hordes of people chasing after like an Eevee or something like you used to years ago when that came out.
I do
That's fucking
remember
forever ago, but
the first EV community day because I lived in a college town, which of course so much foot traffic and just kind of generally people do stuff like that. And the first EV community day, the whole city was just like flooded with people partaking,
yeah.
and I was like, it's just kind of dope, but also like not necessarily random, but not one of the things I would have ever expected.
Yeah, I was a little like too young to like fully take advantage of like the hype stage of Pokemon Go. Uh, when it had like a little bit of a revival, I guess, at some point. That by that point, yeah, my friends and I could like drive around and do shit. Um, but at that point, I didn't really give that much of a fuck. We did it for like one day. We drove around and we went to it was like a Groudon raid or something, and just another random group of people also happened to show up to this like random fucking part of town for this Groudon raid, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we're all in this together now.
Yeah, I remember when Pokemon Go first came out, I was doing like an internship or something like that, and like a bunch of people, a bunch of the other students I was with, like a few of them, like I hadn't heard about Pokemon Go until then, and then a bunch of them mentioned it. Like a few people were saying, "Oh yeah, playing Pokemon Go on on my phone," and like I was like, "Oh my god, there are other people who are interested in Pokemon," but like they weren't actually interested in
But
Pokemon; they
then
were
they
interested
weren't
in the game.
actually interested in Pokemon.
Yeah, which
That's
like
the
it's
funniest
fine,
thing to
Pokemon Go
me.
can be a gateway, but it's like it was just weird because it's like, oh my gosh, like everybody's playing this, and then like a week later, they were like, I was going downtown in my hometown, and like there were people doing raids, and like, oh, I'm repping Team Mystic, bro. Like I was like, whoa, this is like actually like a mainstream thing. It was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy when it
It's
first
it's like
exploded.
totally respectable, but I think that subsect of people is like the funniest for me to look at is the ones who just play Pokemon Go and have never even like had any intention of playing any other Pokemon IP, but they just really like Go.
Yeah, yep.
I have a friend who I work with who's the same. She plays Go like not every day, but at least when she has time. And I've had conversations about it before, and it's like she never played any of the like main series games or any other IPs. Just is really into Pokemon Go.
That's like insane to be. I don't know.
That is actually kind
It's
of.
like, how do
It's
you?
like,
I
yeah,
know
I
it
know
exists,
it's
but it's
cool,
just
but I'm
weird.
like, how do you not even be like a little curious and just like try one of the games?
Isn't like Didn't Blunder just like never actually play Pokemon? He just plays Showdown or some shit. Like he never
Yes.
actually
I
played a
mean, he
man.
played
That
the original
I
games,
I
but
think
yeah.
he's played, but not like all of them, and not like
Yeah,
a lot.
exactly.
It's just,
Yeah, it's just like
which
so
is also like
interested.
a funny subsect of
Just get like
people too.
really into like the battling portion, but you have no fucking clue about anything else.
And then you
Don't know the
play the
lore.
main game, and imagine he like tries one of the main like newer games and is like expecting the AI to switch and shit like that.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
he would ever. I don't think he'd make
He'd
it
be
through a
like,
full game. Like he'd get bored at
He'd
some
be the
point.
yeah.
he'd be like,
Like
what?
I think he streams like the rogues. Like he played Emerald Rogue a
Yeah,
lot and
he's
then
like a huge
Pokerop.
rogue guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if he can click buttons, he's happy. But when like the Pokemon, like dude, I quit playing the fucking like actual games because they fucking DLC put me on a selfie stick. I'm like, you know what? I don't need to do this.
That did happen. That's true. Um, I like playing the main games, but I don't play them obviously expecting it to be a challenge or anything. It's more of just like, oh, a little
Oh yeah, like
short
they're not
adventure to like
challenging like
try out all the new things.
any capacity. Like even I don't know, like the closest thing to challenging Pokemon has probably ever been would be like Gen 4 when you're younger, but like I don't know, because like Gen 5 is like actually baby, like super baby cakewalk. Like the fucking champion doesn't
Gen
even
5,
have
yeah.
6 Pokemon or whatever the fuck, you know. Like
I'm so mad that like Gen 5 had the right idea with the level curve and just fumbled it. Like, I've talked about this before. I hate that by the mid 30s, your entire team is fully evolved. And like by the
Well,
50s, you're
Gen
completing
5
the
was the one
game.
with like all the like super late.
Gen 5 tried to have like a normal, what should be in theory a normal level curve, and gave a lot of Pokemon these like really late evolutions, but then it didn't scale the rest of the game to like do that.
Right. Okay.
So
I see what you're
instead,
saying.
you're finishing the game still at that level 50, but like your Larvesta is still a Larvesta.
Oh, that one's notorious. And then like Hydreigon, right? That evolves at like
Yeah.
65 or something. I don't know, whatever. I don't remember,
But I
but
think conceptually, like it's kind of silly to me that a trainer with 3 badges could have a fully evolved like Charizard.
yeah,
right, yeah.
like um
Like I feel like that's a mid-tier trainer, and they should have like the mid-tier stages of Pokemon still. But the level curves are so early.
I feel like Black White also had the right idea of like all the Pokemon are in the game, but like the main things you're going to encounter are the new ones, as
Are the
opposed
new
to
ones,
like
yeah.
every other game where it's like, yep, here's this thing that you already know from, you know, that's been in
I
every
don't
single game.
dis. I was gonna say I don't dislike the fact that like other regions Pokemon live in
I mean,
various
yeah,
regions because
like
I
that's
think
fine. I'm just
like
like
it's the
the
same
main.
with animals, right?
It's a very cool
Like there are
concept. Like having
animals that
all
are
unique Pokemon. I don't know. It's just cool.
yeah.
Yeah, like I think yeah, I think Gen 5 just did it. I think one of the I don't know, it was always stupid and people were like, oh, these Pokemon aren't like well designed. I'm like, have you seen like Voltorb, Electrode,
You've
like
seen Grimer?
like
Literally
Have
yeah,
just a
you
pile
seen
of sludge.
Seal?
it's literally a
Have you seen
pile of
a
sludge.
literal seal named
Oh,
Seal?
Seal.
And guess what? Seal evolves into a dugong named
A literal
Dugong.
Dugong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
like, come on now.
Pokemon, like everyone's like, oh my god, it's just an ice cream cone. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you have Pokeball, you have Pokeball upside down, you have pile of sludge, you have bigger pile of sludge, like you have a
On this
snake.
topic though, what actually is Vanillix? Is it just
Ice
like
cream, bro.
sentient ice and snow?
I have no idea.
Because I think you think of that in the same vein as like Klefki or Poltergeist or any of those, but those are also like I know the lore behind them of like, oh, it's a fairy or a ghost or something like that, right? And now that you're mentioning Vanillix, I'm like, what actually is it?
I don't
But
know, because
it's
like
it's
with
just ice
Trubbish
cream.
and like Garbodor or whatever, it's like, oh, they're like, it's like mutated trash or some shit. But
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah, I don't know. I guess
Now I'm just wondering what actually is the Vanillix.
I don't know, you'll look through the dex entries, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's just like solid ice, I think.
The encyclopedia.
Yeah, it's just like living. I guess there are other Pokemon like Craig and all that are also just like living chunks
Yeah, it's
of
literally
ice.
just
So
a
maybe it's
fucking
not that weird.
snowflake or whatever made of ice, yeah.
Anime podcast, by the way. I don't know
This is like too far
what
off, I
percentage.
guess.
I don't know what percentage of this we've talked
I did
about
have one
anime,
more thing to mention,
but
but
um, just to note, we've definitely been talking about everything but anime for the
hey,
last.
Pokemon, relate it. I mean, yeah, kind of.
Pokemon is great. I'm excited for the new Legends game.
I don't know if I care that much, but we'll see. It could be, I don't know, it just depends
I like
on...
Legends Arceus.
I liked it for like I hated the tutorial, and then after the tutorial, I liked it for the rest of the first area, and then after the first area, I'm like, okay, I think
I'm a
I've
little curious how they're
worn
gonna
out.
kind of sell
Like, it's
what's
supposed to be
actually
all in
going
like
on,
one
because like
area.
it's all in the one city, and so it's like, is it gonna be kind of like a city builder?
Is it just gonna be like a
Um,
really big, like, cause like if you think of
I
like,
mean, Lumiose is huge, right?
I mean it's
So like it
big, yes,
could be
but
a
it's
really
like
big
not
city.
so big you can make a single game about it. So like, are they going to expand it,
Well,
like
yeah,
change
I
perspective
do
type of
think
thing?
I do think that saying it's all within Lumiose doesn't mean like you're not going to be traveling outside of Lumiose. I think it's more like when you are traveling outside of Lumiose, it'll probably be things that like expand the city, right?
We'll see. I don't
Or
know.
like the general area surrounding it.
I don't know. Like Pokemon The Sims probably isn't gonna like appeal to a lot of like kids, which is obviously gonna be their main market, and so it's like we'll see how all that goes. I don't know.
I think Legends Arceus was really good, but it still, to me, kind of felt like an experiment.
No, it was definitely an
And so now it's
experiment.
like they know that people like that, and it was very popular. And so now I'm curious. This is kind of one of those things where it's like traditionally, I feel like I expect Pokemon Company to know that and just put out the same game basically, because that's what they consistently do. But if they improve on it, then that would be the
I
ideal.
think the main thing I need to see improvement on is like the open world itself needs to not feel dead. Like that was my biggest issue with the Legends Arceus is like, okay, there's like some aspects that make it feel more alive. Like you can get attacked by the Pokemon, that's cool, but it's like the actual Pokemon otherwise don't do anything. They just kind of like sit there, and there's nothing in the actual world. Like, you know, you're in this like old age like region or whatever, but you only have like the one settlement, and then like in the third stage, you get like another one, and that's like it.
Yeah.
There might be like like one house every now and then somewhere maybe. It just felt
I
extremely
don't
like
disagree,
there's
but I
nothing to
also,
do in the open world generally
yeah.
besides like, oh, there's a new Pokemon, let me throw a ball at it, and like, oh, this is the gameplay loop, do this for every single one. There's nothing else to do but throw the ball.
I was gonna say I don't disagree, but I also just generally have this opinion about a lot of open world games, because it's like every inch of the world is not interesting. Like that, a fact about everywhere, right? So to me, it's like the open world style is also just gonna be kind of dead
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's gonna be dead
But I do
sometimes,
think
but
it
my
can
problem
be
with the Arceus is
improved.
that it was dead
Yeah.
everywhere. And so it's different than like, you know, in Elden Ring there might be an expanse of like grass that's like, yeah, there's nothing going on
Hmm.
here. But like on the other side of that grass, there's gonna be like a dungeon here, a dungeon there, you know. There's gonna be shit for me to do. But in Legends Arceus, it's like, yep, I just went through this entire field, but the entire map is a field, and so that's like, you know,
Yeah,
what have I
I
accomplished?
agree that it can be improved. I just do think I think a lot of open world games to me just generally feel like
I
it's
mean, yeah, like a lot of open world,
traveling between dead space from point A to point B.
yeah. I mean, that's like definitely one of the
But
biggest
I also think I'm
problems with them.
someone who is like enjoys being like task oriented. So that's another thing that my like specific playstyle also isn't exactly built for open world, because the whole point is you're supposed to like get lost and
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
explore the
Yeah.
world and
Yeah. I
waste a
think I'm
bunch
kind
of
of the same
time.
way. I don't know.
And I'm like, I got a mission to do, guys. I can get a little distracted sometimes, but generally I'm like, point B is that way. I gotta go.
Yeah, I think like especially recently, I guess with the popularity of open world games over the past, I don't know, 10 years or whatever. There's been like this idea that like open world equals good, but like there's like I don't know, aside from like a population of people who enjoy like I don't know if you want to call it linear, but like more directed gameplay, like I think there's just merit in that. Like there's something satisfying about having like a um just like a point A to point B like story that continues in like a natural progression. Like both types of games can be good, and like there are groups of people who like both.
Like an
So I
example I think of for this was like Horizon Zero Dawn,
mhm,
right? Had a lot of point A to B progression, but had like a decent open world. It wasn't like the greatest open world of all time, but it was one of those things where it's like you had the opportunity to kind of interact with stuff, but you were still pretty encouraged. Like, yeah, keep like going towards the goal though.
Yeah, like with some of like the Dark, not even some, just the Dark Souls games in general, like technically it's like you can choose like certain paths at certain points to make it like not super linear, but like you have like a general end goal you still need to work to. And then sometimes you might have to go to point A to unlock point B or some shit like that, but
Yeah.
you still have like a little bit of choice in what you're doing. Um, I think stuff like that. I like being able to generally choose what I want to do. Not that like there's anything wrong point A to point B. Um, I think it maybe makes some games more replayable. You can just do something
mhm,
different. Uh,
I do think that if you're going to commit to the whole open world thing, stuff like what a lot of the Dark Souls games will do, or even like I think Legend of Zelda did this, where you can just like go roll up on the final boss theoretically and just like beat the game immediately if you're good enough.
yeah, you can't
Stuff
quite do
like
that in
that
Dark
to
Souls, but
me, well, yeah, stuff like that to me though feels more entertaining. If you're gonna do that, like just you can literally do whatever you want at this moment.
yeah,
yeah,
I enjoy both. So definitely some games, I don't know, I just prefer the linear gameplay. I'm also someone who like, yeah, I just need that. Both in games and in real life, I just need directions, man. Like I just need
It's true.
directions. Just tell me
It's
what to
just
do. I'll
like
do it.
it's also like
Also, side quests are like
as
still fine. Like
funny.
side quests are good. That's like part of the,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny to say as someone who plays like MMORPGs that are all just designed around you will never complete your goals and you'll spend dozens of hours to do a single thing. But like also I am an adult with that like works a job. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm,
it's hard for me to really get into open world games nowadays because it's like if I have only an hour to play, for example, like can I really enjoy the open world aspect?
right.
yeah. I think like I tried to get into The Witcher. I played a bit of Witcher 3 because a friend recommended it to. It's like, hey, you like these time games. You probably like The Witcher. Um, but I feel like my tolerance for like playing games has like gone down generally if I'm like I said, like for some reason I'm just really monkey with games. And so like something like The Witcher where there's a lot of travel and side quests and then there's still the main quest. Um, and it's not like I don't know, I just don't have the time to like take in The Witcher as
Yeah,
I might have,
exactly.
which makes it easier to play something like, I mean, Elden Ring still has like exploration and stuff like that, but it's not like as, it doesn't feel as daunting because the side quests and shit in Elden Ring, and Dark Souls and all that, they usually don't mean that much. Like I don't have to go do them to like progress or anything. I just go to like find dungeon, go through dungeon, fight boss, yeah, dopamine attained. Uh, like The Witcher, obviously, it's like a very involved story, shit like that. And so I played like a few hours of it. And like, not that I dislike it, but I don't have like the capacity to go through this whole thing and give it like a fair shake, probably. If I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know, fucking still in high school or something, that'd be a non-issue. But until I win the
Have like
lottery,
4 or 5 hours a day
yeah,
at least to do stuff like that, then it's like, yeah, I don't mind doing like an hour of progression and like 3 to 4 hours just
And
messing
I think
around.
also part of it is just like I have my hands in like so many different cookie jars, I guess, to like put it one way. Like
Yeah.
you different, friend groups to talk to, do stuff with, and then like I watch a lot of anime. I do some content creation sometimes at this point. If I want to read manga, I want to read the fucking novels on my shelf that I haven't read in years. It's like there's a million different things that I would like to do,
Reading
and
is definitely one of those things for me that's like suffered a lot from the fact that just I have a life.
having a life
Just
makes
to put
things
it
very
like,
Oh, yeah.
difficult.
yeah, exactly. Just to put it in like strictly blunt terms, it's like I can, get a couple hours a day to do stuff like that, but then I'm choosing between, 4 or 5 different things I want to do, and really only having time for like one, maybe two.
Yeah, it's difficult to manage time when there's so many different things to do.
True.
I think reading, it's just like one of those things where when I sit down with a book, that shit's getting read in one sitting. Usually, like, especially like light novels, especially like it's a couple hundred pages. I can sit down, I can read this whole thing right now. Um, Manga, I can read like a big number of chapters in one sitting. It's just difficult to do. For me, it's difficult to read in moderation. Whereas like with an anime, I can watch like a couple episodes or something like that and feel like I'm still like progressing through it, as opposed
It's
to
kind
like
of like how it's hard to like watch a movie in
like
parts,
yeah,
in my
I will
opinion,
literally
right?
never, I will never watch like a half of a movie and then save it for the next day. Like, I can't do that, and that's like same thing with reading. Like every novel in a sense is like its own movie.
Bro's gonna read Harry Potter from start to finish.
I mean,
700
that would
pages.
be, it's like what, 1,000 pages. I wouldn't probably be able to do that, but
It's
No,
fine.
no.
It's just a
um,
1,000 pages of mid anyway. It's good.
true.
Fair. Understand.
But yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's those things take time because I mean I make them take time. If I did like the read 20
Well, yeah,
minutes every night thing,
exactly.
that would be different. But I don't do that, so
Like one of the reasons I don't play a lot of games is the same idea. Like if I play a game, I want to be able to put like multiple hours into it and really get like big progression, right?
yeah, like,
And not just,
I hate
oh, I'm gonna
like
pick it up.
hopping on something for like 30 minutes or an hour. It'd be like, yep, that was good, and I like move on.
It's one of the
Uh,
reasons I can never get into FPSs, even though realistically FPSs have the opposite
they're like the
idea
most
in
Is there
built
theory.
one? I
game
don't
to
know.
like hop on, have like a game or two, and then hop off type of thing.
I just hate the idea of like hop on, play one, maybe 2 games, and then like, oh, that's my fix. Even though theoretically that should be fine. I'm also just not good at FPSs,
Me neither. I'm terrible.
so I think that helps as well because it's like, well, if I'm gonna suck at it, then you know, and I don't have the hours to put in to get really good because I never played them as a kid, and that's like a big skill difference in my opinion for a lot of people with FPSs. Is if you put in those hours when you were a kid to get even like decent at the game, that translates.
I never played them.
Yeah, I don't have like the motor functions to be like a pro or anything, but I can usually develop myself in whatever game I play to be above average at least.
I think if I put in the time, I could be decent at a lot of FPS. Like I played Overwatch when it first came out for a bit, and I was, good enough at it. I played like Destiny for a bit when it came out, which isn't really an FPS, but
Yeah, I mean like
I mean it is, but it's not the same play style. So like, I think I could get there if I wanted to put in the time, but like a Call of Duty, for example, that has just, or like CS:GO that have these like big committed player bases that are just,
yeah, I
it's
mean
the
Call of
same
Duty
as
is
like
one thing because
Smash Bros
they have like
nowadays, right?
pretty heavy like skill based shit. So like if you're a shitter, you'll play against other shitters is typically how it goes these days. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
The
I mean
lowest rank
CS:GO is
feels
like
bad.
definitely like if like Rainbow Six Siege, for example, one of my favorite games of all time. That game is like impossible to just pick up as like a newbie and then like be good at it these days. Like you have to. The only reason I'm even like I have like a semblance of what I used to be on that game. Like if I pick it up these days, is because I have like at least some game sense that is retained over time. Because not everything about the game is going to change. But that game is like so important to have like map knowledge and game sense and shit like that. And so it's like if you hop back on after like years, it's like, oh, they changed this map, they added these maps, like this map's gone, like doesn't exist anymore. They changed the recoil on these guns. I'm like, oh fuck, and then and like CS:GO, there's a lot of tac shooters. Like something like COD, you can pick it up, you can run and gun and be fine.
Yeah.
But like in tac shooters, it's like yep, there's map knowledge, there's gun knowledge. A lot of games are shifting towards hero shooters. Like I mentioned last episode, the whole reason I'm watching Eurocamp is because it's like the Valorant cooldown. We play Valorant, whether we win or lose, we're gonna hate ourselves, and so we're just gonna watch Eurocamp afterward.
I like the idea of hero shooters just because, as a person who likes a lot more like strategy-based things, it just adds another element.
I mean, definitely adds like some that's like the interesting thing with Siege. Like there's 70 operators, so like no round you play, like that's why the game has survived for almost a decade at this point, is like no matter what like you're doing, you're never gonna have like the same round typically. Like there's a lot of variance,
novelty.
Yeah, and there's a lot. The maps are very destructible. There's definitely just so much variance within a Siege game. Valorant is somewhat similar. I think there's not as big of a cast, but all the cast have like 4 abilities, and so there's definitely a lot of variance there. CS, not so much. CS is like not at all hero shooter. You have 5 goobers who can all buy the exact same shit if they wanted to, and then go from there. But there's still a lot of like utility that can change how like a round plays. It's still a lot goes into those type of games that make it hard to pick it up in like the modern age.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of knowledge and obviously skill that matters a lot.
Yeah, and it's like skill is definitely part of those games, but like if you don't know what to do with it, then you'll only like progress so far. Like
that's the problem that like people have switching between a lot of FPSs, right? Is because so many of them require like different skill sets.
Yeah,
wasn't there this Valorant pro who switched to CS:GO and he said like, "Wow, CS:GO is like so much better of a game." I forgot the name of the
there's probably
player,
like some like vice versa. Like I think like the
no,
big thing with
like,
Valorant
said, like,
versus like Valorant versus CS:GO is the gunplay in CS like is more consistent because there are spray patterns versus
you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, Valorant is just random, and so I can't CS:GO is like a detriment to my Valorant gunplay because I have to like unlearn everything I used to know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean that's like probably one of the things that's just more consistent with what happens as opposed to Valorant where it's like your shot might hit, maybe. I don't know. Good. Like, there are times where, like, just the randomness will be, like, you'll, like, be aimed right on someone, but, like, just because there's, like, a shred of, like, a chance your shot could go somewhere else, you'll just, like, whiff it, and it's not even your fault. You just can't do anything about it. It sucks. But yeah. I guess to end us off on an anime podcast thing, we've been talking about games for however long.
Yeah.
So there was a Sony Group Corporation. I'm just gonna link the tweet. That'll make this easier. There's like a Sony meeting, I guess, about what they're gonna be doing going forward about certain things in regards to like their anime. And so Sony is considering to establish an academy to train overseas anime creators with Aniplex and Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has 13 million paying subs. It's like not important, but I think like the main thing there is like
okay, so yeah.
Apparently they want to establish like an overseas training thing to get because I think anime industry is like getting more and more thin in terms of how many people are in it. And so I think at least on paper, what they say they want to do is to like train people overseas, but then they also want to just make the animation industry like a more hospitable place than what it is right now. Whether or not they actually mean that is a completely different thing. This is Sony. We're talking about. Yes, but their public statement, they say they want to improve things, which is a good thing in theory. Yeah. So in like this should be considered a W. Um, of course, you have like the Twitter fucking culture war people who are like, "Oh no, all the woke liberal animators are gonna ruin our anime now," and it's like,
Oh my
you think
god.
they have like that much control over the fucking productions?
Absolutely
Like,
not.
they're literally just gonna be like, "Yep, this is your scene, and this is what you're gonna like." You might have like some level of creative freedom, but you can't like. It's not like they can change the fucking dialogue or something. This is different from like localization dub type stuff where maybe someone does overstep a boundary. This is just animation, so people just being annoying to be annoying. But in theory, this is a good thing. But we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I didn't mention. Um, I started watching Girls Band Cry. I did some stuff, and I started
Did
watching it.
some stuff. Don't
Did
say
some
it like
You
stuff,
mean
bro.
you
This was,
watch the official French version?
of course, of course.
yes.
So anyway, I started watching the first couple episodes. I'm just yeah, I still have a few episodes to go. What are they on? Six? No, I think 6 or 7, something like that.
I think it's 7.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so
Yeah,
I've got a
7.
few.
8 comes
Uh,
out tomorrow.
okay. So still got ways to go, but the show itself, fine. The 3D stuff, I don't know, man. I'm very sensitive to that kind of stuff. Low key, I'm getting kind of like not motion sickness, but like it's a little jarring for me. I mean, I know you
It's
said like
hard. It's hard to watch your first like real 3D
yeah,
anime.
bro. It's like ugh, it's weird.
Like at this point, I've adapted to it.
Yeah,
But I do respect and acknowledge the fact that like the first time or two, it is very weird.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I think uh yeah, like Girls Been Cry is definitely like a step up from a lot of 3D CG type stuff. If there's anything they're consistent on, it's just like it's very expressive, but um it's definitely like up and down. Like a lot of people treat it as flawless, and it's like it's definitely better than like most of them, but like, it has flaws, very obvious flaws. I think one of the things I hate most with 3D is obviously everything is like an asset, right? And
mhm,
so, maybe one of the characters is eating like something with sauce on top, but they're like the way they hold it is they'll like fucking just grab it from the top or something. It's like their hand should be just completely sauced up right now. There should be raspberry all over that shit, but it's just
Yep.
like it
right.
does not. It doesn't feel like a tangible object, whereas like in actual 2D animation, they would have to probably. I mean, not that they always do that. Like in Weakest Tamer, one of the one gripes I had is like any time that Ivy would like skin something, because she's out in the wild doing shit, like killing like a rabbit or something, and she skins it. Obviously, she had to do that. Like there'd be like no blood anywhere. Like it'd just be like the cleanest like skinning of any animal of all time. Um,
Right.
like here's the I have a gif of it. Don't ask why, but
You've definitely posted this GIF a lot.
yeah, I just like it's just very like unsettling. Uh, like it's very detailed except for the fact that there's like literally no blood in any capacity.
Yeah, that is. Oh, that is okay. A little much.
Anyway, I can appreciate the detail. Just
Sure, sure,
just
sure.
not that I'm just not trying. I'm trying to. I don't want to say that Girls Band Cry is like the only anime in existence that like doesn't put all the detail into like
Yeah,
that smaller detail, but that is like one of the harder things to do with like the 3D is like you have assets to put in, and it's like, yep, that
yeah.
is.
I didn't find the quality to be like super low or anything. Like it wasn't like jarring in that sense. It's just more like I don't know. I'll get used to it probably, hopefully, because I don't know. Sometimes the first few episodes, I mean, I know it's pretty likely I'll get used to it, but I don't know. Some of the shots when like characters are turning or like getting up from bed and or like up from the chair and stuff, it's like it's really
Yeah,
weird.
I think
Like yeah,
one like I can't remember. I brought it up on here at some point, but Lamp Man, right? Like
yeah,
that's like the live 2D aspect of that, and it's
yeah,
like extremely stylized to where it looks extremely fluid. Whereas like Girls Band Cry, you have the background, and it's like I think whenever they like over direct, I don't want to say over direct, but when they heavily direct a part, like let's say it's a concert scene, like those usually look really good because they're extremely stylized. and they're built as like music videos almost. But like the rest of the anime is like, okay, this character doesn't look that natural against the background, which is usually like one of the biggest issues with like 3D CG, I think, is that the characters can look very awkward, like their model is like very apparent against whatever they're standing on. Which is probably like the most jarring part of Girls Band Cry for me, I guess. Is just it's just very obviously like CG. I think one of the
Yes.
I saw a clip from so the most recent Slam Dunk movie, I think, from 2022, and that's 3D CG, but it like looked like pretty good, like really really good. Like if you only showed me like a bit of that clip, I wouldn't have even like thought about it being 3D.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely making strides. Not perfect, but it's getting there.
Yeah, it'll get better. But
Yeah, but for every Girls Band Cry, you have fuck, I don't have the. I have to go back and look for the tweet, but the Demon Misfit of Demon King Academy, it's part 2 of season 2 is airing right now. No, I'm not gonna watch part 2, but there's a CG scene that occurred that was really really bad, like probably some of the worst I've ever seen in anime. Let me see if I can look it up. King Academy. Bad CG. So this is Reddit from. Oh yeah, okay, I found it. I think okay, it's just a picture of it, unfortunately, but it'll get the point across. Like this is much worse in movement.
yeah,
I'd
that
have
one
to.
looks weird.
It's like extremely, extremely jarring. Like it's so bad. Oh, there's a. Okay, I found the tweet. Thank you, article, for not being a real article and just like linking a tweet. It's not gonna let me. Okay, I got it. I forgot I muted this account. That's why I was having trouble. That should be a video though. Just click on that and you can get the you get the full experience here.
Yeah,
It's so bad. Like this is like PS1 graphics, dude. Like a lot of people will say that for a lot of so it's so bad, dude. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Girls Brain Cry better than this, but yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Like this is the low point for CG in anime. Like it's so unnatural, so ugly, just yikes all around. But yeah. Anyway, that'll be the end of this here episode. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars, whatever the fuck platform you're on. If you are on the YouTube side of things and like go to audio only, then is the Order an Anime podcast. We are the only one. Apparently Google Podcast they're killing that because they're just gonna have podcasts on YouTube now. But I already have the YouTube. We exist on YouTube, so
Yeah.
you know. If speaking of YouTube, like go to audio only to the YouTube. Is the Order an Anime podcast? Can't possibly miss us. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST, without fail, except for when we do, there will be a new episode out for you to enjoy. So once again, thank you for listening, and we will see, or hope to see you in another episode. Thank you and goodbye.